Greetings, viewers. Welcome to a deep dive into the Book of Judges from the King James Bible. My name is, and I'm thrilled to guide you on this journey. The Book of Judges is a treasure trove of fascinating narratives, filled with tales of leadership, courage, and the consequences of moral choices. It's a book that has captivated scholars, theologians, and Bible enthusiasts alike for centuries. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll delve into the intricate tapestry of this biblical book, shedding light on its key events and characters, and exploring the enduring wisdom it holds. So, if you're ready for a journey of discovery, intrigue, and insight, let's get started. Today, we embark on a 10-minute exploration of this riveting biblical narrative. Remember to subscribe for more biblical deep dives, as together we uncover the timeless lessons embedded in the scriptures. Before we dive into the chapters, we need to set the stage. The Book of Judges tells a riveting narrative situated in a pivotal period in Israel's history. This was a time characterized by distinct cycles of disobedience, oppression, repentance, and deliverance. Imagine a carousel ride, except instead of horses and merry music, we have a nation spiraling through phases of rebellion and subservience. Israel during this period was like a child testing boundaries, veering away from the path of righteousness, only to face the consequences of their actions. And what were these consequences? They were periods of oppression under foreign powers. These were not brief periods of discomfort but extended epics of despair that spanned several decades. In their suffering, the Israelites would cry out to God, their hearts filled with regret and a longing for deliverance. It was during these desperate cries for help that the true heroes of our story, the judges, made their entrance. These were not judges in the way we understand today. They were charismatic leaders, chosen by God, not to pass legal judgments, but to guide the nation back to the path of righteousness and to lead them against their oppressors. The judges were unique characters, each with their strengths and weaknesses. They were not kings or queens, but ordinary individuals chosen for extraordinary missions. They were military leaders, prophets, and sometimes both. From Deborah's wisdom to Samson's strength, each judge brought something unique to the table, igniting hope in a nation that was all too familiar with despair. But the role of a judge was not a walk in the park. They had to navigate a nation through disobedience and oppression, encourage repentance, and bring about deliverance. It was a cycle that repeated itself, a pattern that we will see as we delve deeper into the Book of Judges. It's a time where leaders, known as judges, rose to guide the nation. This historical backdrop sets the stage for a series of narratives that not only capture the human struggle but also encapsulate divine intervention and the enduring power of faith and repentance. So buckle up as we prepare to delve deeper into the lives, victories, and challenges of these remarkable judges. Our journey begins with Deborah, a prophetess and judge. In the 4th chapter of the Book of Judges, we encounter Deborah, a woman of wisdom and spiritual insight. She's a prophetess, a mouthpiece for God's directives, and a judge, providing leadership and guidance for the people of Israel during a time of uncertainty. Deborah isn't alone in her leadership though. Alongside her is Barak, a military leader with an unyielding faith in God's promises. The story of Deborah and Barak is one of partnership, of divine guidance, and of heroic bravery. As we delve into their narrative, we find the Israelites oppressed by Jabin, the Canaanite king, and his military commander, Sisera. The Israelites have been under their cruel rule for 20 years, crying out to God for deliverance. Deborah, receiving a divine message, summons Barak and relays God's command. Barak is to gather 10,000 men from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun and lead them to Mount Tabor. There, they will face Sisera's formidable army, equipped with 900 iron chariots. But Barak hesitates. He's unsure, fearful perhaps of the daunting task ahead. He agrees to go, but only if Deborah accompanies him. Deborah consents, but she warns Barak that the honor of victory will not be his. Instead, Sisera will fall into the hands of a woman. Despite the initial hesitation, Barak's faith in God's promise propels him forward. Together with Deborah, they assemble the men and march towards Mount Tabor. Sisera, hearing of their approach, readies his chariots and men for battle. The stage is set for a conflict that will shape the course of Israel's history. The battle that ensues is no ordinary one. The Book of Judges recounts how God throws Sisera and his army into confusion. Amidst the chaos, the Israelites strike, and the Canaanite forces are completely defeated. Sisera, however, escapes on foot, eventually seeking refuge in the tent of Jael, a Kenite woman. In a surprising twist, it is Jael who fulfills Deborah's prophecy, striking down Sisera while he sleeps. The victory of Deborah and Barak is a testament to their strategic brilliance and courage. They dared to stand against an oppressor, guided by their faith in God's promise. They rallied their people, faced their fears, and emerged victorious. But their story is more than just a military victory. It's a tale of spiritual triumph, of faith overcoming doubt, of divine providence guiding human action. It's a reminder that even in the face of oppression, there is hope for deliverance. Deborah and Barak's story is one for the ages, a narrative that continues to inspire and resonate. Discover the strategic brilliance and courage displayed during this pivotal battle. As we continue our journey through the Book of Judges, let's carry their story in our hearts, a beacon of faith, courage, and divine guidance. Next, we encounter the story of Gideon, a reluctant hero chosen by God. Here we delve into a narrative brimming with divine intervention, military strategy, and an underdog triumphing against overwhelming odds. Gideon, a humble man from the tribe of Manasseh, is found by an angel of the Lord threshing wheat in a winepress, a picture of Israel's fear and oppression under the Midianites. This angel delivers a divine message, calling Gideon a mighty man of valor, and commissioning him to save Israel from the Midianites' hand. Gideon's reaction is one of disbelief and hesitance. He asks for signs to confirm this divine message, and God graciously provides them, reaffirming his promise. In preparation for the impending battle, Gideon gathers an army, but there's a twist. God instructs Gideon to reduce his army from 32,000 to a mere 300, leaving them severely outnumbered. The reason? So that Israel could not boast of their strength, but acknowledge that the victory was God's alone. Gideon's army is chosen in a peculiar way. The men are taken down to the water, and those who lap the water like a dog are separated from those who kneel down to drink. From this unusual test, the 300 are selected. Now, the stage is set for the unconventional victory. Armed with trumpets, empty pitchers, and lamps within the pitchers, Gideon's 300 men surround the Midianite camp in the dead of night. At Gideon's signal, they break the pitchers, revealing the hidden lamps, blow their trumpets and cry out, "The sword of the Lord and of Gideon." This sudden clamor throws the Midianites into confusion. They turn on each other in the chaos, and the remaining forces flee, only to be pursued and defeated by the Israelites. Through this stunning victory, Gideon's story highlights God's power and sovereignty. It reminds us that God often chooses the least likely candidates to accomplish his purposes. Gideon, a man who initially doubted his calling, leads a vastly outnumbered army to victory, not by conventional warfare, but through a strategy that required faith in God's promise. Gideon's story also serves as a testament to God's patience and compassion. Despite Gideon's doubts and tests, God reassures him, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to his people. This narrative underscores the idea that victory does not always come from strength or numbers, but from trust in God and obedience to his commands. So, as we delve deeper into the Book of Judges, let's remember Gideon's story. It's a tale of divine selection, miraculous signs, and an unconventional victory. It's a reminder that God uses the ordinary to accomplish the extraordinary. Let's explore the miraculous signs, Gideon's army, and the unconventional victory that unfolded. Delve into the compelling narrative of Samson, blessed with extraordinary strength yet entangled in personal struggles. Born to a barren woman, Samson was a Nazirite, dedicated to God from his mother's womb. His incredible strength, a divine gift, was tied to his uncut hair, a sign of his consecration. Samson's life was a paradox of power and weakness, of divine calling and human failing. His feats of strength were legendary. He tore a lion apart with his bare hands, struck down 1,000 Philistines with a donkey's jawbone, and pulled down the pillars of a pagan temple. Yet his heart was his greatest weakness. His love for Delilah led him to reveal his sacred secret, and his strength was taken away. Samson's story is a stark reminder of the consequences of straying from God's path. His downfall began when he pursued his own desires, ignoring God's laws and the Nazirite vow he was under. He was seduced, deceived, and betrayed by Delilah, who was bribed by the Philistines to discover the secret of his strength. Upon revealing his secret, his hair was cut off while he slept, and he was captured, blinded, and made a spectacle in the enemy's temple. Yet in his lowest point, Samson turned back to God. His final act was a prayer for strength to avenge his enemies for his 2 eyes. God heard him, and in a final demonstration of divine power, Samson brought down the Philistine temple, killing more in his death than he had in his life. Samson's life is a profound lesson in the power of God, the frailty of man, and the danger of straying from divine guidance. His story serves as a reminder that strength without wisdom and obedience is futile. Witness the highs and lows of his life. emphasizing the consequences of straying from divine guidance. Meet Jephthah, a judge with a tragic vow. Jephthah's tale is one fraught with moral complexities, a stark reminder of the profound implications of our promises. Born as an outcast, Jephthah rose to prominence, leading his people to victory. But it was his rash vow to God that marked his tragic end. He promised to sacrifice the first thing that greeted him upon his return home, in exchange for divine favor in battle. Little did he know, his only child, his beloved daughter, would be the one to welcome him back. This story reminds us of the heavy responsibility borne by the leaders of that time. In the midst of chaos and war, these leaders faced daunting moral dilemmas, their decisions shaping the destiny of their people. This narrative invites us to reflect on the challenges faced by leaders during this tumultuous period. As we conclude, we'll reflect on the enduring relevance of the Book of Judges. The narratives from this ancient text still echo in our world, centuries after they were first penned. The Book of Judges is not just a historical document, but a mirror reflecting the human condition in all its glory and tragedy. The stories of Deborah, Gideon, Samson, and Jephthah teach us about the essence of leadership, the courage required to stand against adversity, and the profound impact of our moral choices. These figures, despite their divine calling, were as human as you and I. They had their strengths and flaws, triumphs and failures. In their narratives, we find timeless lessons. We learn that leadership is not just about wielding power, but about making tough decisions for the greater good. We see that courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to press on despite it. And we understand that our moral choices, large or small, can have far-reaching consequences. Its tales of leadership, courage, and the consequences of moral choices resonate in our lives today. Thank you for joining me on this 10-minute journey through the Book of Judges. What an exploration it has been. If you found this journey as insightful as I did, don't hesitate to give this video a thumbs up. Your likes make a significant difference and inspire me to continue creating such content. Are there any particular insights you gained, or perhaps questions that arose during our journey? Let's continue the conversation in the comments section below. Your thoughts and questions are always welcome. Also, if you haven't already, tap the subscribe button. By doing so, you'll be the first to know when we dive into another fascinating book from the King James Bible. I promise you, there's a wealth of wisdom waiting to be discovered. I encourage you to continue exploring the timeless narratives within the pages of the King James Bible. Until next time, stay curious and stay enlightened.